Hey, it's Wednesday, which means it's time for another Top 5 Wednesday, and in keeping with the Fringe theme, I thought I'd do the top 5 shows I saw at Orlando Fringe 2018. And then I actually looked at the shows and I realized that I had made myself an almost impossible task. I saw 55 shows this year, and that is not even half of the 130 or 129, I think, that existed. And I still really struggled to take it down to 5. So these are my top 5 shows. I'm not saying that they were the greatest at Fringe or that all of the other shows were terrible. I'm saying that for me, these are the 5 that spoke to me the most, that kept me thinking the most, that interested me the most. And you can take from it what you want. Also, they're in no particular order. Number 5, F-Boys the Musical. I came across this show because they offered to be one of the people that we murdered in our show, Patrons Pick for Murder, and I was planning to attend it for that reason. I thought it would be kind of a fun, kitschy musical. I wasn't necessarily sure what I was getting into, but I wanted to support artists who are willing to support us. And then it blew me out of the water. The show is beautifully put together. It's snarky, it's quick, it's quippy. The music is phenomenal. The vocal arrangements are really good. The way that they played with the thrust stage was really well done. The way that they played with their set, somehow keeping a static set but still making it feel very dynamic in location, was really cool. And so overall, I really loved it, and I was glad that we were collaborating with them. They also won a Critics' Choice Award for Best Musical, and it was absolutely well-deserved. And I hope that they continue to expand this into a larger piece, and I will be waiting to see what that company comes up with next. They are Infinite Productions, and I will put a link down there so that you too can check them out. Number 4 is TK421 is Dead, a Stormtrooper story. This is a 2-man show. One of those men is Charles Ross. He does the one-man Star Wars show that I saw for the first time in 2004, 2005? Don't remember. But a long time ago in Indianapolis at a Star Wars convention that I skipped junior prom to go to. And he's a phenomenal performer, but what really drew me to this show was the minimalist nature of it, which I expected, but the heart of this story. So I expected it to be pretty farcical in nature, like his one-man shows are, where he spends a lot of time quipping about the things that we all find kind of funny and telling the story through that sort of sarcastic, jaded lens. But instead, it was a story full of a lot of heart of these 2 stormtroopers aboard the Death Star, one of which clearly helped create the plans and one of which gets shot by Han when they break in to break out Leia. And it was just beautifully done and really tugged at my heartstrings in an unexpected way and put itself together very nicely, and I really enjoyed it. Number 3 is The Sybil of Mars. I went to this show in tech preview because it fit in a slot, and during tech previews I try and see as many shows as I possibly can because I want to be able to promote the ones that I like. I wasn't sure what to expect. I will admit, and I know Nicole really well, so she also knows this, that the description left something to be desired. I read this thing about the Sybil of Mars and how she was going to use tarot cards to tell the story, and it felt maybe a little more abstract than I usually like my theater, mostly because I was worried about sitting there and being like, but I don't get it. Sometimes I don't get it. However, it ended up being an incredibly clever sci-fi story that did use tarot cards, but not in the way that I thought it would. So she draws the tarot cards, and each tarot card relates to a very specific story about the history of Mars. And so the order that you draw the cards in creates a narrative, and she takes these individual stories as she, the Sybil, a Martian, is experiencing them, so are you. And so she is learning from all of these stories that you have randomly selected for her by drawing cards, and fitting them into a narrative that will help her decide how to help Mars in the future by learning from its past. And it's wonderfully woven together. She does a great job of taking these individual stories, some of which maybe only appear once in a run, and pulling something out of them that makes sense. And I thought that was very well done. Plus, it's a show that changes every time you go, and you know I'm in support of that. Really want her to make a book where I can read everything, or, just sit there and let me draw every card so that I can hear every story. I'd be down for either of those options. But the girl who does it, her name is Nicole, and she's super cool. Number 2 is Dead for a Ducat. You already know I loved this show because I talked about not seeing it earlier being my only regret of Fringe. The company that puts this together did a phenomenal job of adapting Hamlet into a detective noir with 2 actors playing all the characters, and it had me going from start to finish. I actually saw the show twice, and I have no regrets about that. The way that the actors play the 2 different characters, the 2 actors play all the different characters is really cool, and they actually pretty much all play each other, aside from there's a male and a female actor, and the female is the only one that plays the Ophelia character. But other than that, they switch off on everything, and to watch them adapt each other's mannerisms and patterns of speech as they change from character to character was really, really neat. They did a fantastic job switching in and out and playing off of each other, and I really enjoyed the way that that story was woven together, the way that they tweaked and changed the characters to make them fit this awesome narrative style. And they are going to do some stuff in New York, I guess, because they were supported via Kickstarter. So I'm going to link to their website. You should absolutely check them out and follow them because they are a group that I think is worth following. And number 1, this comes as no surprise. This one actually is here for a reason. It was my favorite show at Fringe. I saw it the first weekend and nothing could have possibly beat it out. And that is 13 Dead Dreams of Eugene. This is a show done by a couple of people who have been to Fringe a lot of times before, but I've never watched their other shows because clearly I have been remiss in my fringing, but I will be looking at them from here on out. This is a macabre shadow play story based on the true tale of a body that was found in this small town in Ohio and was put on display for like 30 years. And the dreams that people started to have in this town related to the body being on display. It's dark, it's fascinating, it's beautiful, it comes with music, and from start to finish, I was captivated. One of the reviewers mentioned that a lot of times during a Fringe show, you can hear those small sounds of people like shifting or like opening their water bottle or things like that. And in this show, silence. And I agree. That time passed, and when it finished, I was like, oh, have I been here this whole time? I was lost in another world for the last hour. Didn't even know what happened. So that's my number 1 show. If the companies that put these shows on have websites or links, I'm gonna hunt them down and I will put them down there. Otherwise, just keep your eyes open because there's great theater happening wherever you live. So keep your mind open and go and experience something that you may not have thought about, because I can tell you right now that there are a few of these shows I wouldn't have thought about and they've become some of my favorites. I'll see you tomorrow.